Hi. I wanted to talk about the calling of God on your life. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I recently experienced this and I was so lost. I was so lost. I was so lost, I did not know what was going on with me. It's almost like I wasn't warned. It was weird because I've always gone to church. And my mom is a Christian, and I have other people around me that are Christians, and I've always been drawn to God, you know. I don't know, all my life, even as a little girl. And the calling happened to me recently, earlier this year, actually. It was, wow. So what happened was, one day I was going along my way, my life, living my life, right? My best life. And I said to myself, you know what? This life is okay, but I want more. So I decided to ask God. I said, God, I want you to come into my life. And I want you to take control of my life. Take control of it. And do what you will with my life. Lead my life. And shortly after, I'm going to say probably about a week because it seems so short, I started experiencing this drive to read the Bible and pray. But it was a drive, right? But it was almost like I was no longer in control, right? And so I would get up every morning, I would read the Bible. I read the Bible throughout the day. I just wanted to look at Bible verses. I prayed a lot. I just prayed and prayed. I prayed everywhere I went. I was just praying. Prayed in my car. And I would feel the presence of God on me. And I would cry. And I wasn't even sure why I was crying. But it wasn't like a bad cry. It felt like, it felt good. It was like a cry of joy, like tears of joy. But it was odd because I didn't know what it was. And so I was like, maybe I'm going into depression. I'm not sure what's going on here. But I've always been okay. So I'm like, what is happening here, right? Because I have a really full life. And so I started to call different pastors, and I'm like, I don't know why I want to read the Bible and pray all the time. This is, I don't know why. I need help. I need to find out why. And the different pastors, like I've spoke to about 4 different pastors, and everyone sort of said the same thing, but I still didn't know what it means. God is elevating you. God is promoting you. God is moving you to the next level. And I'm like, what does that mean? I mean, is he elevating my job, right? Because I really could use a promotion. But they were just saying that to me, and I did not know what it means. And it kept on going. And it's almost like you're like, oh, why am I feeling like this? You no longer want to listen to secular music. No secular music. I used to take certain classes at the gym. I could no longer do it. My spirit wouldn't allow it. My spirit just wouldn't allow it. I just couldn't go in anymore because they play a certain type of music, right? Not the classic music. And I was just like, man, what is this? So I started looking for answers, and I didn't know at the time. No one could answer me, but everybody kept on saying, ask God, ask God, ask God, what's going on with you, right? The pastors that I spoke with, because that's who I spoke to. I went straight to like preachers and pastors. And they said, ask God, ask God. So I'm like, ask God? How am I going to ask God? Like, how's he going to answer is he going to answer me? Like, how am I going to? how am I gonna know that he's speaking to me, right? Is he gonna come to me in a dream? I was just so lost. And so I would and then I didn't know how to listen to the voice of God. Like, I did not realize. I didn't know how to. So I'm like, is it my head? Is it in my head? Is it the voice? Is God talking to me? I don't know, right? Later on, I find out that God was talking to me, obviously, because he was pushing me to read the Bible and pray, right? And I don't know, I felt eternal joy. I've always felt joyous and happy. I'm that person anyway. But this time it was different. The peace was like, wow, unexplainable. Unexplainable. And I was happy, you know, I was just super happy. But I also felt isolated because now I didn't want to do a lot of things that I used to do. Didn't want to listen to the music I used to listen to. All I wanted to do was go to church. I couldn't wait for the next Sunday to come. Pray, read my Bible. That's all I wanted to do. I'm laughing because now I'm looking back, it's like so funny. And so God was transforming me. And I realized, being pushed to read the Bible and pray, God was already speaking to me. But I realized so late. And then I started looking up online other people that may have gone through this. And a lot of people were like, yes, you are going through a spiritual awakening. It's called spiritual awakening or spiritual isolation. And I'm like, wait, these are the things that I'm going through. Like, I see people with the same example as the things that I have been encountering. And I was just like, wow. And it finally gave me my answers because I didn't know why. I just didn't know why. And my familiar world was no longer, the world, my spiritual world was now in place of the physical world. And so a lot of things I didn't want to do anymore. I didn't want to even man, it was hard for me to even get up to go to the gym, and I spend a lot of time in the gym, right? Especially some of my favorite classes. One of my favorite classes I couldn't even do anymore, and I was like, okay, but it wasn't like I regretted. You know, Jesus don't allow you to regret it, not having certain things, but you're like, oh wow, I can't do that anymore, and you're like, okay. And it's almost like it wasn't there, like you never was in love with it. So you're like, I'm fine, right? However, I was like, whoa, this is different, right? What I'm going through is just like really, really eye-opening. And so one of the things that I did go through was the loss of my friends, like some of my friends, like that I thought was my friend. I don't know what to call it. It's just really odd. People that I care about was like removed from me. Like I wasn't able to have a communication with them anymore. That my spirit was not like allowing me to have a relationship with them that I had before. I wasn't speaking the same way, and everything I spoke about was God and of God and all about God. And most people don't want to hear that, to be honest. Let's just really be real. Most people do not want to hear about God. No. Because when you speak about God, you speak about the things of God and things that God does not like, and the things that you're expected to be or do as a believer, and people are afraid of those things. People don't want to hear about heaven and hell. People don't want to hear about spiritual warfare. People don't want to hear it. It's just so. And so, you know, it's just hard to relate to the people that you were relating to before, because before the conversation was absolutely not about that. It was more about what's going on presently in our world with just people around us. And I don't know, I had just had zero interest. I also realized that I did not have the desire to be a parties, even though I wasn't a party person, but I would go and I went to one event, one example. And when I was at the event, I went to the event. First of all, my spirit was like, you should not go to this event at all. And I was like, man, I had to pay for the event, so I did it. And I was like, man, I can't get my money back. That's it. I have to commit. So my husband said to me, why don't you just go, and if you don't like what's going on, let's leave. And I was like, all right. I went, and the event was it was a normal event. It was a birthday event. People, we were dancing, just like everybody, I don't know, the world does. I don't know. This is what people do, right? We're living, so we do. They're dancing and, having fun, and my spirit was just like, yes, you can't stay here. You need to go. First of all, I felt really odd being around those people. Like, I was just like, and these are people I've known for years. And I was just like, my spirit was like, yo, you gotta get up and go. Like, you cannot stay here. Get up and leave now. So I was like, okay, I gotta go. So I was like, let me wait till I eat. So I sat there. Remember, the spirit was telling me not to go. So I sat there and I waited for my food to be served to me. And how is it that everyone in the place, and there was about, 50 people or so, got their meals, and I was like almost like the last person to get my meal. And I felt like I was being punished the entire time. Like, where's my food? I want to just eat and go. But I felt like I was being punished. I was like, man, God did not like that. I didn't listen to him. And I was like, man, I'm going to eat and go. The food came. I ate, literally wiped my mouth, grabbed my stuff, and jetted. I left. I was the first one to get out of there. I was like, I can't stay, And I felt kind of bad because it was a friend of mine. It's a friend of mine, and it was her birthday. And she, when I saw her, she said, Nicole, I saw you one time. What happened to you? And I was like, I'll tell you later, because I couldn't explain myself. I couldn't explain myself. Because when you say to people, the Lord told me that I have to leave, they're going to look at me like, what? So I couldn't explain. So I just was like, I'll tell you another time, and that was it. Like, I'm still going through it, it's a rough ride. I'm not gonna lie. It's not an easy ride, because you feel this beautiful sense of joy and peace and love, for God, and you know that God loves you, and you know that you're surrounded by his blessings and his grace. And because every time you turn around, you get a favor, you get a favor, you get a favor, you get a favor. And you know that it is God's presence that is working these favors. And you're like, wait a second. Why are people doing all these wonderful things for me? And you know that there's a favor of God in your life. And that's wonderful, right? That part is great. And the other aspect of it, you're fighting. You're fighting. Spiritual warfare is real. Before, I never thought about it, and just never thought that demons were real and all that stuff was real. And the reason why people don't talk about it is because, some Christians speak about it, but I think they speak about it minimally because they're afraid of what people might say, People are just going to think you're crazy, right? Because if somebody would have told me that before, I would be like, yeah, you're crazy. What is wrong with you? But it's real. It's definitely real, and the fights are real, and you have to deal with it in the spirit. So you have to know how to pray, of course, right? And you have to know what to say. You have to know how to get on your knees. You have to know how to grab your Bible. You have to know how to grab Jesus in the midst of it. Like, Jesus, I want you to repent this situation for me. I want you to fix the situation for me. And it comes with a lot. Comes with a lot. So it's hard. It's hard in that sense. And it's hard in that sense. It's also hard when you feel that you're losing people that you care about. One of the losses I felt was someone that I was really close to, and I don't know, Jesus just removed her and from my life, and I was like, man, Not her. Not her. But you know, God remove people that He don't think is going to fit into your new world. You know, and that's just our reality. And you know, and He knows what's best for you. So suck it up, and you serve God, and you serve the kingdom of heaven. Whatever God wants you to do, that's what you do. And I asked for this. I'm glad I asked for this, so, because I can't see myself doing anything else but serving God at this point in my life. I love God a lot, and I know He loves me. Just grateful. I'm grateful for Him. I'm grateful for Him selecting me to be a part of His kingdom. That's good.